Hey, look, it's been 3 weeks and Jen's actually here.
Fuck off.
Hey guys, welcome back. For any of you that ever said, I don't follow through on my promises when I ask you guys for feedback, this was actually a comments suggested topic.
I forgot my dragon. Hold on.
From the last time that Jen was actually here.
I don't realize.
So apologies, by the way, guys, if my audio is not as good as it could be. We just rearranged all the rooms and we're still working on resoundproofing the office. So it's not going to sound as good as it does like in future streams, but we're working on it.
I didn't realize Seamus was not in view. That's Seamus.
Oh, we've got Akeda already.
Oh, I got to do the stuffs. Hold on.
Yes, you do.
The old lady has to bend, so you have to show by yourself.
Oh no! Ah! Oh shit! We lost 10 people as soon as the intro rolled. I'm surprised.
We need a new one, honestly.
We are working on it. I am currently working with another content creator on creating an actual custom theme song, as you know, because we've discussed some of the covers that we might do. But I am actually getting all of the music on my channel redone. It is just taking time. Akeda says, support so Marmar can get a restraining order against Luna. Red, of course.
All right, I'm using a really shitty marker because I forgot a pen. Okay.
For those of you who didn't see my last video, which is most of you, please go watch my last video. Nobody is loving it right now, and it's making me very sad. Marmar, or Marmaras, is my baby gargoyle gecko that I just got. With the support of all of those of you who were nice enough to donate on my birthday. So he is a baby. He's starting to get to the point where I can actually touch him now, but I can't handle him yet.
Oh my god, I can't have pets that I can't handle.
Too.
I need to squeeze my babies.
He's a baby.
I know, and I need to squeeze them.
You probably shouldn't squeeze geckos anyway.
Not like of mice and men Lenny squeeze them, but like cuddle.
We love them and we squeeze them and we makes them mine. Anyway, I'm sorry.
I have a deal or no deal card in my dresser. Thanks, kiddo. What the fuck?
All right, so let's talk a little bit about this week's topic and kind of why we're bringing this up, because we are kind of uniquely positioned to talk about this because we are on both ends of the millennial spectrum. I am 4 years off of the end, and you are right there at the beginning.
This is going to be a really fucking weird show for me because I grew up, quote unquote, fast in a lot of aspects. So a lot of these markers of adulthood for me, they're either going to be too young, like holy shit, I shouldn't have had that at that age. But I'm also an older millennial. So there's gonna be some that's like, yeah, I don't have those.
Holy crap, Akeda with the $20 super chat. Marmaran.
I already know what Akeda wants her color, so.
And don't bite my hand, there's your theme song. Okay.
I already know
what
Oh yeah, so if y'all are asking about the fucking color. Anybody who does a $5 or more super chat, I have 3 lights in here. Well, kind of 4, because now I have one on the TV. I just keep adding shit to my house, and I really need to fucking stop. So I have 4 lights now. So you can pick light colors if you have a $5 or more super chat, or $4.99 if you're on Apple. They could be 3 different colors. They could be all one color. They can be 2, whatever the fuck you want. So, yeah.
But you get it for 5 minutes.
Yes, you get it for 5 minutes. Piper, I know that's an Apple one. Piper, what color would you like?
Yep, Piper says, sending love, Jen and Allie. Probably can't stay for long, but wanted to show our support. Had a day, Cassandra. So, let's talk a little bit about what markers of adulthood are, because I know that especially from my side of the millennial generation, which I happen to be dating 2 people that are on either side of that. My husband is very close to your age.
Yes.
And my other partner is closer to my age, 1 year older than me. So again, we kind of have this stratification between the 2 of us because my husband was able to get one of the big markers of adulthood is a stable full-time career, not just a job. And this is one of those things that I think our generation, the whole of us, most of us do not get that.
Right. So
most of us have jumped job to jobs our entire life.
I'm purple. Your husband and I are, like you said, we're close in the same age, and it was at that time now that you see what privilege gets, because I grew up in the projects. I grew up.
He and I both did too, effectively.
Not in a great situation. I grew up in the projects in a very high cost of living city. So college and shit was not awarded to a lot of us because, one, we couldn't afford it, and two, we didn't have the time to go to school like that. We needed to work full time. We needed to.
Well, and that's where like union jobs and shit would be your saving grace if you could find one.
We did have union jobs. So, but a lot of the time, how can I put this in the most tasteful way possible? I grew up around a lot of gangbangers and drug dealers. So we had been working to put food on the table since we were 12, 13, 14, 15 years old. And when you come into that kind of money and that kind of lifestyle, one, why the fuck would you want to go to college? Two, you can't.
That's not even like it's not even a possibility in your mind when you grow up.
It's not. And even
Jason
even with trade
says,
school,
I
could try yellow. I could try yellow. Even with like trade school, you don't have the time where I'm from a lot of the time to even attend trade school because you have to work. You need to put food on the table. You need to pay these bills. On top of, and it's usually like 2 and 3 jobs. So a lot of the time where I came from, a lot of people still don't have that solid career and what they're going to do for the rest of their lives because they never had the time to dedicate into going into it. It was, I have to work. I have to find whatever job I can to just survive.
Well, and the union jobs always said that they weren't biased, but really if you had family or something that got you in, which is part of how Steve got was his mom worked for Boeing, and that helped get him in with the hiring process. Yeah, we didn't get
opportunities like Boeing. We didn't get that. Like, no.
Most people out here don't get opportunities like Boeing, to be completely honest. Usually you get hired, you get a couple of months, and then there's layoffs, and he somehow survived his. He got lucky when he got hired on the in-between period.
The most you kind of got... So there were 3 ways of making it out of my neighborhood.
We have another round of Acadas.
I already
share some of my
Acadas.
privilege. I'm technically a boomer.
It's on red anyway. So we had 3 ways of getting out of my neighborhood. You either you were one of the rare ones that like, well, we had more than 3, but you were one of the rare ones that like went to college and was successful. And usually the ones that did that weren't fucking around in the streets. Like, you never saw them. They were studying all the time. They were taking a bus and a train 3 hours to a specialized high school. Like, you didn't see them fucking around. You either did that, you had kids and married somebody who wasn't from the hood and got out that way.
Which is what you were talking about.
Right, you died, or you went to prison.
Carbuckle, me too. I'm Gen X, red, yellow, orange. Thank you so much, Carbuckle.
Y'all.
I mean, David's got a really good point here, though.
Like, y'all with the red and yellows and orange and shit. I run red, and every fucking time we do yellows and oranges, I look fucking orange.
So let's actually let Tangent.
Right, and that's how it was. It's a quick turnaround. And trust me, a lot of us were making a hell of a lot more money.
And there is endless demand.
Endless demand, especially when you in a hood like that. Especially when you grew up in a neighborhood that saw the peak of crack and then saw the peak of heroin, and just like, we didn't fuck around with like white boy drugs.
Press F to pay respects for our monetization.
Yeah, like, we didn't fuck around with white boy drugs. Like, we didn't do like ecstasy and mushrooms and shit like that. Like, that shit
Molly,
didn't filter through.
MDMA.
Yeah, I mean, if we went out to the clubs, maybe they got it here and there, but we didn't fuck around with that kind of shit. My neighborhood was weed, heroin, crack, coke. You made good fucking money off that shit. So you're making this money anyway. You're putting the food on the fucking table. And everyone's sitting here thinking, oh,
in the food desert, where it costs out your ass in order to buy the food in the first place.
Right. Everyone's sitting here thinking like drug dealing is easy. Y'all, let me fucking tell you it's not. Okay, this shit that you grew up with on fucking TV, no, fuck off. No. Drug dealing, either you out on if you're like a runner and you're doing like the actual selling to people, you're standing out on a fucking street corner or you're driving around all fucking day long. All day fucking long, from 8 in the fucking morning till goddamn midnight. And then 2 in the morning, your fucking phone rings, you gotta make another run again. If you're just above that, the people that are in charge of putting the people and watching the people out actually selling, you've now got a whole network of literal drug dealers underneath you to watch. So you got to make sure that, well, one, even being out on the corner,
that they're not running off with your money too.
One, they're not running off with your money, and even being out in the corner, you got to worry about the cops getting you. You got to worry about other people killing you and fucking robbing you, or there's some kind of beef or some shit about where you're at.
The cops get one of them.
Right, and now you got the next guy up, right? So the next guy up is usually the one that's like, oh, I know somebody that can go do the thing. Now you got to worry about if this motherfucker doing the thing, if he gets caught, if he's going to snitch on your shit. Then you got to make sure that they stay alive, that they don't get locked up, that your shit that you're getting from your distro ain't bullshit. Because if people start dying on your shit, you're fucked. People start dying on your shit, you're fucked. And then you got higher than him. And now this is where the weight comes in.
No, this sounds more like a distribution chain. This is
a distribution chain, right?
This is a distribution chain.
This is a fucking company. Like this shit is run like a fucking, like a corporation.
Yeah, this is what a distribution chain looks like.
As you start getting up, the more you start getting up, the more weight you're holding. So now you got to worry about where the fuck am I going to hide this shit that I don't get fucking found, that I don't get fucking robbed for it. And then you go up and up and up and up and up the chain. And the higher up the chain you are, the more likely you're going to die.
Can I give you an interruption really fast so I can explain why it's not an MLM? Here's the difference between this and an MLM. They only want so many dealers. They will assign them territories. Like they will assign them fucking territories. They don't want their people that are in their territories competing with each other in order to sell. MLMs want everybody to sell.
If you got all these people out hustling, right?
If you recruited everybody to hustle, like
I'm giving a
MLMs
101 on fucking drug dealing on YouTube.
You'd be so fucked out. You'd be so fucked over.
I'm giving a 101 on fucking drug dealing on YouTube. This is fucking insane. Okay.
This didn't happen.
But the higher up you go, now you got to worry about getting bigger weight and not getting caught. You got to worry about taking that weight from whatever country of origin that it's coming from. Because let me tell y'all, we don't make shit like that here. The shit that you get comes from other countries. It comes from South America. It comes from Canada. It comes from Afghanistan. It comes from Asia. A lot of your pills come from Europe. Like, so now you got to worry about getting your shit here and moving your shit here. And the higher up you go, the less people there are. It's like, the CEO and then the workers and everything else. So you got other CEOs coming for you. Drug dealing is not fucking easy. You don't just fucking sit in some fucking mansion with your fucking tigers and just be like, everybody else takes care of it. It is constant fucking worry. You worry about your life. You worry about your freedom. You worry about your money. Because this shit can go done. Your fucking main distro gets taken out, you're fucked. You're fucked. Because now you got to go shop around for other shit that are working with other people that you may not get along with. You may have had beef with other fucking distros because of who you're working with. So now you got to worry about that. Your peoples get clapped, done. You have no fucking way to sell your shit. And now if your boys get clapped, you got to answer to the people that you're getting your shit from as to why you can't sell your shit. Like, this shit is not fucking easy. That shit is stressful and it kills you fucking young. There are not a lot of fucking 60, 70, 80, 90-year-old fucking dealers out here. There's not.
And
you don't go great doing that.
Well, we can move away from that a little bit because, we've been on that topic for long enough that YouTube has definitely demonetized this video at this point. Congratulations, y'all who are super chatting. You are funding this one, just so you know.
Does that look like purple?
That does look like purple.
Okay.
That looks very purple.
Okay.
But let's talk a little bit, since we talked just about that, like the same problem kind of happened with the pandemic too, right? Like people were complaining that like fast food restaurants and shit couldn't actually get workers because people were getting more money off of unemployment with the extra bonus that they put in than they would have been getting from that. It's the same with drug dealing.
Yeah.
There are many different ways, and I've noticed that our generation in particular, maybe I'm wrong about this. Coyote says F for monetization, also blue. Coyote, by the way, for those of you who follow me on Twitter or aren't following me on Twitter, Coyote is actually working on developing a calendar app for non-Wiccan pagans on GitHub. If you have some kind of programming skill, that stuff is all freely available and they're looking for people to help out. Go take a look. There's a link on my Twitter to that. I really want to get as much attention on that project as possible. I know it's not usually in the scope of this show, but it was just announced today and I really want to kind of get as much hype going on that as possible because it's really freaking cool. Ikeda says, happy to be this kind of fundamentalist. Ha ha.
Ha ha. I can't believe I just gave a fucking breakdown on how to drug deal on fucking YouTube. That's
You didn't.
awful.
Okay, you didn't. That was not a how-to. That was a. These are the things you need to consider as a company owner if you happen to be doing an illegal thing.
Wow. Okay, I'm nobody ever worth.
Is that your phone ringing?
No. Is it me? Oh my god, it is me. Sorry, I didn't realize that was my phone. I saw a fucking severe weather advisory and apparently it was an app. I thought it was you.
Nope, my phone vibrates, as you know.
Ooh, my ringer's off. That's why I thought it was you. And I didn't realize it was okay.
Jen is now embarrassed. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the marker,
okay,
that being such an important marker of adulthood for a lot of us. Like, first job, most of us, the vast majority of us, are working service industry job, things that people think are reserved for teenagers. But a lot of us, I mean, there's only so many managerial positions you can climb up. So you've got 30 and 40-year-olds that are still running carts and that are still working in fast food. In fact, that's the majority of us are within our generation that are working these jobs.
Retail, too. Retail's a big one.
David says, I feel somewhat responsible for the demonetization. Don't. If you hijack our brains, it is entirely our consent.
Whatever.
Also, the unemployment is better than wages. That's not our fault. It's the companies. Pay us. That's the point that I was making there.
Color.
David, give us a color, please. Make it rave for Jen. $10 super chat.
I should just randomly break out into a dance party, like randomly once every show. Like you just never know when it's coming.
Yeah, and David says that they work at Domino's. Like that's a thing. Magenta, apparently. So it's purple pink.
Where do you see magenta?
Right there.
Oh, okay, it caught up. Cool.
Yeah,
I can try.
I've got it open on the other screen.
I don't know if I have magenta, but I can try.
So then let's talk about the next big thing, because this is something that, like, let's face it, millennials being the end of XYZ is like the big headline that all the boomers
I don't even have
buy.
like a career. Like I'm now going back to school as an older millennial to be like, okay, I actually have the time in my life.
I made my career. I built my fucking career. I just went, screw working for a company. I'm going to be an author.
I actually have the time to pursue an actual career. Like I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, you know, this is kind of doing a thing, and you know, the pandemic hit, and of course, you know, everything kind of slowed down, but I'm like, okay, I actually have the time to like figure out how to do this and actually start pursuing like a career.
So let's talk about marker of adulthood number
I have gold.
2. Because people are now claiming millennials are hooking up a lot more and getting into stable long-term relationships, particularly marriages, a lot less. Marriage of some kind, whether it is marriage or even let's just include stable long-term relationships of any kind, because marriage
no, they don't count stable long-term relationships. This is straight marriage. They mean like government marriage, like on the record.
I'm saying even because, you know, civil unions are a thing that happen, or not. I think it's civil unions is the legal one.
Common law is what you're thinking.
Common law, yes. Mm-hmm. Common law marriages are a thing that happens. So let's say stable long-term.
But a lot of states are getting rid of that. I think we're down to like maybe 10 states that recognize it.
They still exist here.
Not here. They didn't in New York either.
But that's a big thing, is we're getting married a lot less. And we're also getting into stable long-term relationships that are living together of any way, of any kind, a lot less.
So I hit this marker, but I was...
Ryan Litke says, I really appreciated the deep dive into the festival calendar. Super informative. Good luck to Coyote on the app. Thank you so much.
I forgot how old I was when I got married. I want to say 20.
Ryan, please let us know what color you want.
Hold on, I want to say 23.
Natalie, kids are another marker that we have.
We're gonna hit that. So I hit the marriage thing. Honestly, I felt like I had to. I was like, you know, we're kind of doing this thing. He was in the military. He was getting ready to deploy, and it was both financially and what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it would have been better for us if something happened to him if we were married. Mm-hmm. Because, like, in the military, you can't, like, if you're not married, you can't live, they won't pay for you living together. You won't be contacted if something happens to them. You can't get their power of attorney to handle their affairs. If they do pass on, you don't get their life insurance. And this is how it was at that time. They've changed it since then. So we got married. I got married at like 23. I got married young, but I had done a lot of shit.
I got married at 22.
Yeah, I had done a lot of shit like young, to where I was like, at 23, I was like, I'm kind of okay not going out and shit every weekend.
Well, and this actually is pretty reflective of the millennial attitude towards marriage right here. Marriage isn't really that important anymore. My partner and I have been dating since 2013. We're only now considering marriage because it gives us benefits, taxes, and their tuition.
Right. So,
and actually, that's like, for me, I've talked before about how my husband and I, we had known each other for a long time before we started dating. We dated for about a year, and then the Affordable Care Act kicked in, and I, because of the health problems I was going through, which I've talked a little bit about on the channel, I don't want to get too deep into my past with health issues because there's a lot of them and it will take all day. But because of the health scare that I had at the time, I had to quit my job because there was basically no other option. And so we ended up deciding that because I didn't have a job at that time and couldn't get onto a work insurance, trying to get on, the exchanges were still fucked back then. We got married so he could put me on his insurance, and we knew that that would change nothing about our relationship apart from getting us a bunch of tax benefits, making it so it'd be a lot easier to put me on the house, and like otherwise nothing changed.
So here's the thing with me. I have a child. Hi, Moxie. Bi-flag colors: pink, white. God, this marker sucks. Blue. Okay, so I have a child.
Moxie says bi-flag colors.
I have a child, right? I have a child. I have my own health insurance. So for those of you who don't know, you get more money with your taxes filing as head of household than when you have a child and you do married filing joint. You get way more money back. Like, put you in a whole other fucking tax bracket. So there are a lot of people that are in my position. Like, so fucking many people. It's because that, you know, we couldn't survive to go and say, okay, I'm going to get married and have my wife stay at home and I go to work. We couldn't survive on a one income household anymore. So not everybody's working, right? And hopefully everyone's at least trying or being able to get some kind of benefit. So we have all our shit. We have all our shit already. And then we have a kid. Ow, fucker. We have a kid and God, it fucking hurt. And now
Jen's thought is totally interrupted.
You don't need to be married to put somebody on a birth certificate anymore. You just have the other parent show up and be like, yeah, this is my kid, and I'll take a paternity test and whatever, and they're on the birth certificate. So now you don't need marriage for your kids. You can legally and efficiently co-parent your children without being married. And then we look at the fucking tax tables and we're like, well, if we aren't married and we just trade off who claims the kid every fucking year, and we're gonna get more fucking money that way.
Well, let's talk though a little bit about the giant, like poly-colored for elephant in the room. We are also far more willing to engage in alternate relationship styles as well. Like, a lot more of us are poly, a lot more of us are in open relationships, a lot more of us are...
I wouldn't say a lot more of us are, like, suddenly it just happened. It's become more accepting.
It's become more acceptable because of the groundbreaking work that has been done.
Right, so people can be who they are and not be trapped in these have to be heteronormative monogamous relationships anymore. See, David, it's different here. And I know in Texas it's a little bit different. I just want to highlight David said that once your name goes on the birth certificate, you're locked in. Texas DNA test will not overturn that. I have seen DNA tests in Texas overturn that. Not only have I seen DNA test in Texas overturn that, I had a friend who had an ex, and this all took place in Texas. She knew she cheated on him. She fucking knew that this kid may not be his. She fucking swore up and down because he was more stable, quote unquote. You know, he had a better paying job, he had health insurance and everything else for the kid. So the kid starts getting a little bit older. And, you know, they split up shortly after the kid was born. He was paying child support. Like, it was all Gucci. It was all good. And he starts noticing, like, this kid looks nothing like either of them. And, you know, he started hearing the rumors that she may have been cheating. So he went to court And this judge was so fucking mad at her for lying and deceiving him and like putting fucking names on birth certificates. Not only did he completely stop having to pay child support, he got his name off the birth certificate. And because she was found out to be deceptive, they made her pay him back. The judge ordered her to pay him back all the fucking child support that he paid. I was like,
Carbuckle says, so true. When I was in my 20s, we were still fighting for gays to be recognized as people. Carbuckle, we need to know what color you want.
Yeah, we need to know. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have 13 slots already. 14 with carbuckles.
Yep. I think 17 is the most that we can do in a show, about an hour and a half.
Yeah. So we got 3 more.
We got 3 more slots, guys.
But it's it's not set up anymore. And we also have to remember too that women until 1970 couldn't have their own bank account. Like they had to have a man or somebody else like with them on a bank account. So now we are able to control our own finances with our own accounts. We can get child support and co-parenting and have a 50-50 split on custody.
Thank you, comrade.
Thank you, comrade. We make more money filing as head of household with kids. Power of attorney will literally replace almost everything a marriage would. Like they have medical power of attorneys, they have wills and financial power of attorneys. We don't need to be married. We just don't need to.
As a poly person, I'm going to say that the possibility for that sort of thing would require a massive restructuring of property law that would be significantly less simple than it looks like it is in terms of some sort of legal recognition.
There's a loophole, though. There's a loophole. There is a loophole with that. If you have more than one partner and you are all living together and want to like purchase and share property together, incorporate yourselves into an LLC and then purchase the property as the LLC. Whoever is on the LLC, whoever is registered on the LLC gets control of that property. That's the loophole.
Mm-hmm. But at present, without going through a bunch of hoops, the chances of that being a reform that is possible are very low, considering at present laws are not very well set up for that.
No.
The entire legal structure is very individualized,
right? And we kind of have the Mormons to blame for this, because the Mormons really fucking made a poly kind of lifestyle like super abusive. And they were found to be having wife after wife after wife after wife. Excuse me. Oh, y'all gotta fucking wait a minute, because that's a trek. And they were manipulating the tax code for it, and that is eventually what led to the government outlawing polygamy. It was because the Mormons were taking advantage of it. So, blame them.
So let's talk about, because you think that the next one would be naturally be children, but it's actually not, because living in a long-term situation, marriage generally actually, before most people had kids in the past, would lead to homeownership. And that's one that I think is often glossed over in terms of being an important marker of adulthood that the vast majority of us do not get. Yep, homeownership. Most of us are going to be renting until the day we die. Like most of us will. I'm lucky that I do, but the only reason that I do is because we are a polycule and we pay for it together. That is the only reason I can.
Yeah, I don't know how. It's especially now with the way the fucking market is.
Jake says abolish marriage as it is. Give the tax breaks to everyone.
I'm not for that. I think, Jake, we also need a color from you. I would get married again. I honestly would. If I met somebody who I was like, it was just really working with, and I knew I wanted to be with, and if they had asked me to marry them, I'd get married again. I think it's a really cool personal way to kind of like maybe.
I don't think it should be socially coerced.
It does not to be socially coerced, but I think for me it would be a really cool way to kind of up the stakes within my own relationship, and I don't want to take away. Is in a lot of faiths, marriage is really important, and I don't want to have somebody be limited in how to practice their faith for that. I would get married again. I think I would. But like I have this joke with anybody I'm with, is that it took me 10 grand to get rid of the last one, so you have to earn 10 grand before I'll even think about marrying you. You have to earn 10 grand. Like, earn your keep. You have to earn 10 grand worth of I'll fucking be with you.
So David's actually on fire tonight. Unless I get rich, I just don't see myself owning a home. I want marriage to stay. I want the definition to be expanded in a major way. I agree.
Yeah.
I honestly think that there needs to be, I think the tax code and the like property laws need to be massively overhauled, in part because of the massive expansion of relationships like mine. Like, we need some way to be able to include other folks.
I think when it comes down to things like the military, I think there has to be some kind of level, because let me tell you how the fucking barracks suck, right? The barracks suck, and you stand to make a shit ton of money.
Military still shouldn't be the only path out of poverty for a lot of us.
No, it shouldn't be.
But
it's real easy to take advantage of that system, and if you turn around and have, we gotta do an episode on fucking dating in the military life one day, like, because it's a whole
that would be a
fucking,
you run episode.
It's a whole other fucking game, right?
I will be emotional support for that episode.
It would be very easy to take advantage of that system. All gods, no masters. You full stop, honey, because that's just unrealistic. It needs to be.
I would love to live in a world where we didn't need one, but that's
right. I would love to live in a world where we didn't need the military. But truth be fucking told, every fucking country needs a force. Every fucking country needs a force, because there is an asshole out there that may come for it. Now, I do not think. Jake, we still need a color from you, Jake Forthy.
We also need another one from Carbuncle.
Yes, we do. I don't think that it should be the path out of poverty like it is. I don't think that it should be glamorized in the ways that it is. But to turn around and say abolish, yes, we shouldn't be interventionists.
Or rather, we need to stop being as selectively economically interventionist.
Yeah, selectively, because like when it came down to the fucking Holocaust, we should have intervened on that shit way motherfucking earlier than we fucking did. Like, there are points where, like, when you come down to the Rwandan genocide, there are points where you look at the humanity of people and it's like somebody needs to fucking step in and help. We don't need to be economic interventionists for our own gain. To turn around and say we need to abolish militaries, that is some floating up in the cloud shit that my realistic ass cannot get on board with.
I mean, even I'm gonna put on my red hat for a minute, because y'all fucking know your girl's a fucking ANCOM, right? Like, let's talk about this.
Hold on. I'm getting to some shit. I'm not against armed defense. I'm against the U.S. specifically. I fully support democratically run militias. I live in the South, y'all. You want to know what a militia is? A militia will get us killed faster than fucking anyone when it comes down to the technology of the militarization on a world fucking stage. You could sit here and say, oh, me and my little AR and my fucking militia.
That is a worthwhile intervention. That is absolutely a worthwhile intervention.
You could sit here and say, me and my little AR or me and my little militia are gonna fucking go do the fucking thing. When Russia comes and drops a fucking bomb on your ass, were you gonna sit there with your little fucking AR? Pew pew pew. Are you gonna do that shit? No. Stop.
Let's not even talk about the bombs. You're bringing a gun to a drone fight.
Stop. Right. Bring a gun to a fucking drone fight. Like, stop sitting here with this 3%er. And that's exactly what this shit is this 3%er ass shit that you think suddenly in today's fucking age, you're gonna go storm the fucking beaches. You're gonna go storm fucking Jones Beach. You're gonna storm Battery fucking Park with your fucking 9mm like it's gonna fucking do a thing. Motherfucker, we ain't in Boston. This ain't 1776. And trust me, motherfucker, when I say shit hits the fan, a lot of people that sit here and run their fucking mouths like, oh, I'm gonna be in a militia and everything else are the first motherfuckers that duck and fucking hide. You don't have the training on how to fucking deal with it. You don't have the training on how to move without getting people fucking killed. You don't have the fucking training on how to properly shoot a fucking gun. So please, don't come here with this shit. Sorry.
Jen, breathing is good for your lungs. Breathing is good for your lungs. Also, there's a
Brandon, I agree.
Here.
I agree. We are on blue. Brandon, I agree.
Moving away from the militias a little bit, and Chad, I ask for you to do the same because I don't want to get into a giant fight. Again, I very much I would love to live in a world where that would be possible. I completely agree that that would be the best way to do things if we abolish the concept of the nation state and we're not dealing with a largely capitalist world. But so long as a single capitalist country exists, the ideas that we would want to preserve are going to be economically motivated to be destroyed. That is just the way it is.
I think the military needs to be restructured. I think military funding needs to be restructured.
Agree.
And I think that what are we going to do? When are we getting involved? Needs to be restructured. But to sit here and say abolish it and then have these little fucking militias, motherfucker, please come to Tennessee. Come to the little town in Kentucky that I live right by.
Okay, we've got a militia up here. They're called the Proud Boys, and they kill people.
Right. Come to the little trailer park town that I live by in Kentucky, and you fucking tell me, if fucking China stormed our fucking seas, would you trust these motherfuckers to fucking defend your freedom?
All right, we are actually getting asked by the chat for once to come back to topics. So let's talk about houses, because we need to talk about one of the other unusual ways that a lot of us are currently living. And we actually had somebody in the chat earlier, before we fucked off into Angry Jen land for a minute. We're back.
There's always got to be a spot. There's always got to be a spot.
Jen's back on the leash, guys. It's okay.
Promise.
I've got the end of it. I'm holding on to it. I'm not gonna let that happen again for a minute. One of the big things, not only are we all stuck renting, but a lot of us are actually renting houses as groups, almost like halfway houses, or not really halfway houses, but like
it's like
houses.
College dorm living again.
Yeah, a lot of us will like rent out a house, have one person who like makes maybe enough that they might consider it, and then there's like 6 of us all subletting in the same fucking place. Yeah. And that is something that is extremely common for our generation, for like groups of friends to live together, which is part of the reason why we're both A, not owning houses, and B, why we're not having kids and getting fucking married.
The only reason I don't have a roommate, the only reason I don't have roommates is because I have a kid. And one, I don't want to impose my child on somebody else.
Steve, you are getting educated. That's what you're getting educated.
I don't want to impose my child on somebody else, but I also don't want him to feel like there's too much in his space because he's just a kid, kind of deal. That's the only reason I don't have roommates.
I mean, like, we have a border. Like, we've always had.
You don't have
borders.
kids though.
Yeah, we don't.
No.
But like, we have a border. Like, and we're also in a poly relationship where all 3 of us are paying for this place together. Like, we each pay as close to a third of the bills as we can manage. Like,
everyone's poly because we can't afford not to be. It's like, why is everyone poly? Have you seen the rent?
Have you seen the fucking rent?
Have you seen what the rent prices are?
I mean, yeah, and that's like, again, Generalissimo's a little bit right there. Yeah. Like, rent is the only affordable in many places when you rent as a collective. Like,
this started when I started seeing the gentrification in New York City. This started. Like, I started seeing that, and like, for some reason, New York City apartments have really small bedrooms with amazing fucking closets, and I saw people actually like gutting their closets and like renting them as small bedrooms. Like when the prices really started rising.
Well, like, and you know,
for
those of you who missed our last show together, which was not the last show on this channel, the last show on this channel was done with Fire, who's the head admin of our Discord. Right. The last show that Jen and I did together, we actually talked about that issue, the parking money instead of butts in houses. But like, that's one of the big things, is that homeownership is damn near impossible, but also wages having stagnated. People completely underestimate how little buying power we have compared to our parents. When I was a fucking kid, going to a dollar store meant that you could buy the vast majority of everything you needed for your life in decent quantities and like come home, and there was like, you could get whole ass giant theater candies and shit there for less than $1. Like, dollar stores, not everything there was $1 because not everything should cost $1. Right, you could get games for a few bucks. Like, a fucking game console system cost as much back then. Like, $60 was almost enough to like get a laptop back then.
Wow, I'm gonna Google that. Hold on.
Well, and you know, like, owning a home just seems to be becoming more and more of an impossibility, especially with the cost of living. But also because rich people are buying multiple houses, parking their money in there, and then either renting them out and not selling them, or like pushing out people with higher and higher fucking property taxes.
$40, $30 to $40 for the old school Nintendo, brand new, and that was like,
that was a lot back then. That was
like the Call of Duty. That was like 85. That was like the Call of Duty of Nintendo. That was like the highest you were gonna go. was
So,
$40.
adjusted for inflation, that's $75 today.
Mm-hmm.
That okay? Just think about
paid
that. In less than
$100
40 years,
I paid
that has
$100
more
for
than doubled.
Assassin's Creed, so I can't.
In less than 40 years, the value of the dollar has been cut like less than half. $75, $30 in like 80s money is like less than. It's $75 today.
Mm.
Holy crap! I like your idea of tax on unoccupied homes. Thank you so much.
I just keep writing red every time.
Call back to the previous stream. That was an idea that was floated. You guys should check that out after you're done here. But
I just write red for Ikeda now. I just like red. Okay.
Yeah, here's another one. From 2005, I read for $199 in the US. 1983 was $500 in 2005.
About Pokemon cards where somebody bought like a $15,000 deck. Some shit like that. Like,
yeah, that's because of nostalgia, and we will get to that in a minute.
I need
that's one of the things that
somebody to teach me this shit because it just sounds fucking cool.
And don't worry, guys. I promise we're going to talk copium at the end of this because all of us are diving deeper into our hobbies and like ruining children's shit and like that. This is some of the things that we started doing as like our generation because we don't have these markers of adulthood. What are we doing? We're trying to find some kind of way to fucking
consistently living in childhood.
But like, when you talk about homeownership, like, you know, a lot of you will never get to experience, and I am very lucky in the sense that I not only married a person who had a good job when we got together, and I had a good job myself, but I've also been industrious enough myself and able to, because of my situation, put the work in to build my own career. That is not something that most people will get. That was something that I accidentally clicked. I have been able to build a life for myself that most people would never have access to. And not because I work harder than anybody else, but because I had the opportunity to do so because of my husband and because of our other partner. Like the two of them working their asses off to help provide what I could not during that period of time allowed me to build my career here. It allowed me to build my career as an author. It has allowed me to do a lot of the work that I have done. And if it were not for that situation, I would not have done it. There's nothing magic about me. Right. But like, it makes me sad that some of you will never have the experience of being able to radically alter your own living environment to be the way you want it to be. I could knock out a fucking wall, the wall in front of me. I could knock that shit out and make that piece of the bedroom in front of me into a part of my master bedroom if I wanted to, and my husband was okay with it. Like, we could do that. Especially when we could hire somebody to do that.
You know, now we have a lot more single parents than ever because we can leave a relationship now and work for ourselves and everything else. So And that was the big kind of stuck up with me was that I'm like, I have a kid that I have to take care of. And I have to worry about putting food in his mouth and making sure the lights are on and making sure the rent is paid. So I don't have time to pursue and wait. I need the now. And with inflation rising and the pay not matching that, I now have to work twice as hard and twice as long for the basic shit that I was once giving him. So we don't have time to pursue these kind of careers.
Well, and a lot of us, like, even those of us who do found our own businesses and shit, a lot of us do it while working two fucking jobs.
Is that kind of magenta?
Yeah, that looks pretty magenta. That looks pink. It looks.
Oh, I have actual magenta. Okay, there's magenta.
Hell yes,
I have actual
that's
magenta.
magenta.
Okay, I have actual magenta.
Well, and here's the thing: is a lot of us are. Like, a lot of us are working our asses off. Like, we're side hustling on top of, often two jobs.
Holy shit, another marker of adulthood, having a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have fucking hobbies anymore.
We have to monetize all of our hobbies. Like, tell me, can you guys name a single creator other than Jen and I that you guys are fans of that has not either participated in or been created some kind of podcast around something like, say, D&D? Or filmed videos of their side hobbies. Like, think Cirrus does his modifications of his fucking Nerf guns. Ocean actually monetizes and shows off his gaming on Twitch. I even show off my gaming on Twitch.
Shit, I'm going on Twitch right after the goddamn show. Like, we don't, and it's not.
Ikeda says, "Where's Riff Raff?"
Oh my god, you guys actually have you ever like seen the actual rapper Riff Raff? You ever seen him?
Jen,
mercy.
Jen, the topic is to your left.
But we don't have hobbies anymore. We don't. I like remember when your mom or your grandma used to like knit shit, and just because they enjoyed it. Now people are selling this shit on fucking Etsy.
I mean, I've taken knitting commissions from my community.
Right. Gaming, artwork, drawing, gardening.
How many of you have a friend who's an artist who does not sell their work? Like, a genuine, like, please press G if you know somebody who does sell their work, who is an incredibly, like, we're saying, like, high quality enough to sell your work artist. Press H if you actually happen to know an artist who does not sell their work, who is that good. Comrade, you do sell your work. You had stuff at a gallery that you were all set up.
Yeah. I thought you did.
Like, seriously, like, for those of us who have hobbies, the vast majority of us who, like, write, who draw, or who do actual, like, even
like quilts and shit, people gotta sell that shit on Etsy now, like, and I don't know if it's
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
So, like, I am a hustler. I'm a former hustler. When I mean hustler, I mean out in the street shit. This gotta hustle
Okay, or if you said any more, you took them before.
You did, though. This gotta hustle mentality. Now, how can I put this?
Hustle culture. That's
the
what
hustle
it is.
culture. But no, because I'm trying to figure out how to say it in this kind of middle of the road way that I feel about it. I don't think you should be a lazy motherfucker. I think if you want something for you, fucking do everything you can to fucking make that happen. If you are genuinely happy playing video games and you want to fucking bank on that, then fucking do it. If you genuinely
you shouldn't feel like you have to.
Right, if you genuinely want to sell your art, fucking do it. If this is the shit that you want to do, then fucking hustle that shit, make it fucking happen. But it's this expectation that everything you do has to produce that we now live in. This is the problem that I have, is that breathing has to produce. If you can't enjoy something unless you're producing something off of it. That's what I have the problem with.
And it feels like you're wasting time. Like, again, those of you who have been waiting, there are people who have been on the wait list for over 6 months now. I have to put my commissions on hold to work on things that I actually want to work on as a knitter, because of the fact that, like, I will drive myself crazy if I keep them open. I will get a ton of them because I'm good at what I do, and I'm confident enough to actually say that. Like, Jen's seen a bunch of my shit. I'm damn good at what I do. I'm an excellent designer. I know what I'm doing. I've done custom pieces that are worth quite a bit of cash.
Yeah.
But the thing is, and I know I could keep getting enough commissions just off of my wait list right now to have me through the rest of the year. But I had to stop myself and put my commission list on hold for a while, because it stops being joyful if you're only doing it for money. And like, I will be knitting constantly either way, and I will make gifts for my friends. Speaking of which, hey Jen,
I know,
this is a reminder.
I still can't find that fucking tape. I know what the tape.
But like, that constant feeling like you have to, that is a product of all the other things that we've been talking about. The other markers of adulthood we're missing.
Like, the generations before us would fucking sit in their garages and tinker with shit, or knit shit and cook shit and just, we're kind of the first gaming generation. But they would just be able to enjoy themselves. And now it's this whole, it feels like time wasted. You're wasting time. You're not being productive enough. You're being fucking lazy for not hustling your hobbies. That's what I have. And like I said, if you genuinely make things and you're like, I want to share this with the world, I want to make some money off of it, I want to be known for this, I want to be big for this, go ahead. Do that shit. I'm encouraging that shit. But what I'm saying is, it's this feeling of, oh, you do something, how come you're not producing from it?
This happens to cosplayers that I know. Really talented cosplayers constantly get nagged for commissions.
Why can't I just enjoy what the fuck I'm doing? And this is why I don't get on Twitch a lot. Because gaming is a downtime thing for me. And I know if I consistently start to do it, I start to worry that it won't become a downtime thing. It'll become a work thing for me. And then it's like, then where do we find a break? Where do we find a break?
By the way, there are 68 of you, and I only see 39 likes. Can you guys take a pause real quick to pop down there and give us a little bit of engagement? If you end up sticking through to the end, drop into the comments as well. It really does help out the channel, especially because the live streams do tend most of the time to get less views than the regular videos that I do. So Jen also needs the attention. She needs more subscribers. You just attention. She just rebranded, and she somehow has managed to
done with that.
She was almost at 3K when she and I met, and somehow my channel got bigger, and we're still trying to figure that out. You were at like, what, 2K, weren't you?
Nope. I just hit 2K recently.
Oh, really? I could have sworn your channel was fully formed and had been around for a hot minute when we first met, though, and we started.
Maybe not even 6 months.
Yeah, but you were a lot bigger than I was. I don't know how I got triple your size then.
Because I still don't know. You put out way more fucking content than I do.
Give Jen some love is my point. I was trying to downplay my own effort in that, but Jen just won't let me.
Throat is like today. But yeah, it's like we can't enjoy hobbies. That's another marker of adulthood. Like everyone's like, what are your hobbies? And I hate when that conversation comes up. I hate when that question comes up because it's like, who has a hobby that they're not trying to make money off of these days?
I do, because currently my commissions are on hold.
You know what I mean, though. But still, you were like making. When you're getting commissions, I lost my marker. When we're getting commissions off of it, it's like, well, is it a hobby now or is it a job? And then it's like the things that I do as like just like a hobby. I'm so guarded against it because I've been looked at and been like, well, why don't you do this with it? Why don't you do that with it? And it's like, stop. Stop it.
So now let's get into, people have been waiting long enough. Let's talk about kids, because you have a kid and I do not. And there's a very good reason why I don't, apart from just my health issues. And part of the reason is that I know that a lot of our generation, especially those of us who are younger.
Upstairs. Speaking of child, I just heard something just crash upstairs.
But
he's not crying, so I guess that's good.
So let's get a G and an H in the chat. Press H if y'all have felt, if you are either, I'm going to say anywhere in the millennial spectrum or Gen Z, because y'all count here too. Press H if you guys have made the decision consciously not to have children because of either the economy or the environment. One or the other. They're intricately tied, but press H. Let us know if you are of that generation and have consciously made the decision not to have children for that reason. Ikeda says love for Jen. I think that's our last slot, isn't it?
Yeah, we're just going to be red for a good chunk of the night.
So, Jen, let's talk a little. That's a very H chat already.
Yeah.
Jen Realissimo says, I can't press it hard enough. Oh, yeah. So, let's talk a little bit about that. Let's talk about the fact that our generation has literally watched the environment transform. Because when I was growing up, our winters didn't get much below 20, and summers rarely got above 90. We just had 3 days where I nearly ended up in the hospital with heat exhaustion because we had a day that was 115 degrees this far fucking north. We had an entire weekend that was over 100. The first time in all of recorded Seattle history, all 3 days in fucking June of over 100.
I have a question for the chat. How many of you who don't have kids, who don't want kids because you feel you just are too exhausted to have a child? And if you did have a child, you literally would have nothing, no time for yourself whatsoever. Throw a G in for me. That you just look at kids like, I don't have the fucking time to do this.
That would be an H. That would be an H. Yeah.
Throw me another H just for being like, I don't have the fucking time to do this. I am so emotionally and mentally fucking spent from just living my life and supporting myself that I don't have anything else to give a child. There you go.
Okay, so for those of you who accidentally G'd because Jen doesn't understand how the system works, go ahead and repress if you were trying to press H. Like, everything from this point on now counts.
Yeah. There you go.
That chat's very H.
I feel that shit. Because, this is why I don't sleep.
I am personally terrified that I could not be a proper parent to a kid because between the two careers that I have, because I do have two, I am still an author, guys. I'm still writing those things. I'm currently writing 2 books. One of them is a novel, and the other one is the 101 book for Hellenism. Like, all of that, between all of that, I don't feel like I could give a child the proper kind of upbringing that they would need in order to be a person. Like, I don't feel like I could be as attentive as I would need to be because I'm running 2 careers. Both of my partners have their own careers. I've got the side hustle shit that randomly comes back in when I need extra money. Like, I've got my fucking pets to take care of. Let's talk about pet kids because most of us have way too many fucking animals, and this is why.
I swear, like, the older my kid gets, I'm starting to realize the cats are worse. Hey, Meryl. The cats are worse to deal with than the fucking kid is at this point. Like, I'm just like, Why are you so
Daria, we
useless?
can have we'll have a stream on motherhood off in the future and about that.
Yeah, that's exhausting. And when I first had my son, I lost a lot of myself. I did, especially because I was not in a very healthy marriage either. But I lost a lot of myself, and then it came to the point where
Oh, Ikeda,
my
simp Apollo here.
it came to the point where my kid was getting older and more independent, and then I had to look at myself and be like, okay, well now what do I do? And the balance between being his mom and being myself and still having parts to me when I'm physically exhausted. I stay up till 3, 4 in the morning just because I'm like, I deal with him all day. I deal with, making sure everything's handled and money and work and everything else. And then him, I stay up till 3, 4 in the morning just to have some time for myself and not get lost in just being a mom and not get lost in just money. It's exhausting. It's not easy at all.
No, it's not. And it's also, on top of that, there are still, what's interesting is, and we'll get into this when we get into the last sort of major marker of adulthood. But one of the biggest things that I think is so difficult for us as a generation is, okay, so let's say you're the typical millennial, the vast majority of us. You're either living in an apartment on your own, or you're sharing it with a bunch of friends, or you're living still with your parents. You probably don't have a house. You're probably not fucking married. And if you have a kid, it was probably either not planned or a decision that was made
Yeah,
in
my
alignment
husband,
with a longer term relationship.
right. My ex-husband was in the military at the time. At the time I'd gotten pregnant. I had a lot of fertility issues. It took a good 6 years, 7 years before I had even
Well, and I'm
had
not
him.
saying this. This is not judging any of you that don't fit this profile. We're saying this is the average person according to all of the statistics that we have looked at.
I came into parenting thinking I was going to be in a marriage for the rest of my life, and here we are.
But the vast majority of us,
not to say
were
that
in
I regret having my
situation.
child, because I don't, but I understand why people who aren't literally set up with the guaranteed paycheck by the military and the guaranteed fucking housing and the guaranteed health care don't want to have fucking kids. I get it. I get it.
We are also still, though, you're in this situation. You are living probably with friends. You might be in a long-term relationship, but you probably either, if you do live together, you're probably not married. If you have a kid, then it was probably not a decision that was made like with planning. More often again, like, we are the generation that seems to have the highest rate of accidental kids. It's just a thing. A lot of us ourselves were actually accidents. I was an oops.
Oh, we can blame that on the non-evolution of sex education in a large chunk of the world. Not even
So
just
you're
the
in this
United
situation,
States. Not even just the United States, the world.
but you're being told that there's something wrong with you, despite everyone else being in the same situation. There's something wrong with you because you don't own a house, you don't have a white picket fence, you're not married, you don't have a long-term job, and
you don't have a kid.
You don't have a kid. Like, you are having this idea of what that means foisted on you. Motherhood is even a completely different experience for millennials. Like, there are the highest rates of single mothers, and that's often painted as this sort of like pandemic, though a lot of women that choose to keep their kids despite the situations by which they came about, whether that's a divorce or whether that's an oops that they decided to keep or whatever, are excellent fucking mothers. Those are kids that are wanted. They were kept.
Yeah.
A lot of us were born into marriages that should never have existed. And now we're being told that our identities, like, we don't have a Mr. XYZ. There is not currently a Mr. Aldrich that is in Jen's household, and yet she is still mostly identified when interacting with other people around her as mom. I thought.
No, I don't say his name.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't.
I can clip that after the show if you want.
Thanks. Yeah, I don't.
Kid's mom.
Yeah, I
think you have actually said the name once or twice on the show before, but I will clip it.
Fucked it. I don't want people in my life to take this the wrong way, but I limit who I expose my son to. One, for his, because, friendships don't last forever. But two, I don't flood my kid on everybody because I don't want to solely be seen as his mother. So, and even Allie can attest to this. When our friendship first started, she didn't hear much about my kid. She didn't hear my kid's name. She didn't see my kid because I don't want to establish the very first thing about who I am is my kid's mother, because I lost myself for so many years and only being his mother, that it took a Herculean fucking effort to come back to it and be okay and trying to find the balance between the two. So I don't really put my kid out there a lot unless like you're in one, for his safety, but two, because that's not the first thing that I want to be seen as. I am a mother. Yes, I am a mother. I am a mother to my child, but I'm a daughter. I'm a friend. I'm a student,
a co-host, a creator,
a creator. So I would rather lead with, I'll always be his mom.
Most places that I've seen put it at 1995.
Boo bitches. Hold on. My tits are like so itchy.
Boob train to memory land. Those of you that are channel members, put it up on the screen.
I think I got a bite when we were in the pool. Okay. So it's like, but yeah, I don't want that to be the first thing that I lead with. So, because once you fucking solidify as this is such and such his mother, it's kind of hard to break out of that. And while I'll always be his mother, he's not going to always be with me. So what do I do when he gets older and he now has his own life and he's doing his own fucking thing, and my entire identity has been wrapped up in this child? And I also think it's unhealthy. I think it's completely unhealthy, and I think it's completely unfair to a child to be the whole center of somebody's everything. Personality, reason for being happy.
This is how you get the people trying to live through their kids, right?
Yeah, that
we still need to do the motherhood stream. We've been talking about that since we started the show. Lucky mosquito.
Like I think we were in the pool and I think something bit me, like on the bottom.
By the way, for those of you who don't know, we do actually have channel memberships. You get access to those emotes and others, and Google only lets me put up so many emotes. There's over 15 of them in the actual Discord server, and we are slowly uploading them. But the problem is Google locks those behind how many channel members I have. So I can only put so many up at a time. Jen is a creator. Jen can confirm that I'm not lying about this.
That's why I don't do channel memberships, because that will drive me fucking crazy. That's why I don't do them.
So if you guys are interested, it's only $2.99 a month. If you guys are interested in doing that, I will put you on the patron list eventually. If you are a member but not a patron, you will end up on the patron list at the end of videos. If you guys want access to those emotes, there's a whole bunch of them. They're a lot of fun, and more will be added as I commission JACandQuill for more.
And I don't want anyone to think that I don't give a shit about being a mother. Being a mother is the most important thing to me. Taking care of my son is the most important thing to me. But I want to be able to raise my son so that he can do well on his own once he's older. But I have to worry about me being okay at that time too. I can't destroy the both of us because of it, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. I left you a thing again. I'm sorry, Jen. I completely forgot, because you have mentioned his name on the show before, but it was an accident.
Yeah, it was an accident. Yeah. Why? Can I get a regular fucking purple, for fuck's sakes? Y'all are dealing with fucking what? That's one light.
So my apologies. For the record, guys, Jen and I have been friends for so long that I have actually seen her kid both on and off camera, and
honestly,
it's a
funny,
normal thing for me, and it's really easy to accidentally forget because we've been friends for
I'm
so
not
fucking
gonna lie
long.
to you. I'm not gonna lie to all of you. Like, as soon as we go off the air, my kid comes running downstairs and says,
Well, because we hang out after the show for a little bit most of the time. It was way too easy for me to forget because I'm used to interacting with the fucker directly.
And we communicate a lot in voice clips, and so my son had speech apraxia, and still does, but it's better now. And the big part of that was
Jen and I talk on WhatsApp all fucking day.
Yeah, but the big part of that was like when they're speaking, immediately like speak back to them, so that, and especially with the autism, you want to make sure that he can hear words back immediately when he can process them, and then it teaches him how to interact with people in the immediate. So, and I forget that I don't need to do this as much, so I'll be talking to Allie. I'll be sending voice clips to Allie, and dead in the middle of the voice clip, I'll just cut some fucking sentence to my kid and then go right back to the conversation. Like, I'll be like, blah, blah, blah. What in the actual fuck are you doing? No. Yada, yada, yada.
And it's just so, like, I do the same thing, but with the guys, because, you know, like, I've got 2 man children. I love them both, but, like, no, it will literally, I'd be like, why the fuck are you 2 fighting, and did you clean the fucking rat cage? Like, that
And then
sort
it'll
of
be
thing.
like, yeah, so, yeah. And then it's like, oh, okay. And, like,
yeah, so, by the way, this fucking asshole, right? Well, and I mean, again, this is the reason that we have such a great rapport is because of that. But coming back to, let's talk about how those things are changing, because we're at the hour mark. There's one last marker of adulthood that is usually a big deal, and that is things like vacation times, especially things like family vacation, the ability to take that time off. That is one of the big markers of adulthood, is when your first solo planned vacation, especially if you travel out of the country, though most of us will never get that.
I would love, like, it's now to the point that the only time I travel is when I have, like, an appearance or work. I haven't traveled
Same.
just for a vacation, let alone one where I can plan activities with the kid.
Well, and like, let's face it, though, most of us, when we go on vacations, though, if you manage to, you're probably flying out to a friend's house. Because, like, the few vacations I've done, I've flown out to go stay with a fucking friend, wherever it is that I want to go. And maybe I'll go do some touristy shit, but for the most part, I'm not going to go stay in a hotel to go to Disneyland. I might fly down to San Francisco to go see my friend who I'm staying with, and we might visit something that's nearby to where she is.
Because it's like the kid, the cats, and everything else, I will cut out touristy shit to be in a hotel room because I just need the fucking quiet. I just want somebody to serve me room service.
I mean, but let's face it, most of us, though, if we do a vacation, it's like a staycation. You could rent like a fucking hotel room out in your own area and just go do touristy shit in your own area.
Oh my god, you know what a vacation is here? Vacation is I can wake up at fucking 10 in the afternoon, and then, well, especially now because it's a pandemic, but when it's usually not. A staycation here is like finding something an hour away cool to take the kid to and have a day with that and then come home. Because, like, I gotta get us, if we want to go somewhere, I gotta get us plane tickets, and then I gotta find us a place to fucking stay, and it ain't like Airbnbs are fucking cheap either anymore. And then I gotta feed all of us, and then I gotta fucking find activities. I am fine to go to another city by myself, see some friends, and literally sit in a hotel room and not do fucking anything else. Like, I am fine to just relax that way. But you can't do that with kids. Like, I gotta find activities and cool shit to go do. I can't afford this shit. I can't afford this shit. No.
Well,
right? Carbuncle vacations when somebody else picks up after me.
Well, if you notice, a lot of the problems that we're talking about, almost all these markers of adulthood have been stripped from us. Why? Because of economics. Honestly, we inherited an economy that was crashed. And, like, again, if y'all want to know all about why the economy is fucked, please watch the last actual Xenia Bridge episode.
Like, every episode that we've ever done.
Yes, but our last one that we did, specifically the Xenia Bridge that we did on the housing market, we went deep into the history of the fucking recession that fucked us all. You, when you were in college age, and me, the year after I graduated. Because remember, the 2008 crash was the year before I fucking graduated. So I graduated into a burned economy. So let's talk a little bit about what we've been doing instead. Let's talk about copium, guys. Like, let's get some love for some copium in some chat. What do we do? Ironically, for all of us that are monetizing our hobbies, we are also diving deeper into everything from fandom to creativity to creation. We are one of the most engaged generations in terms of things like hobbies. We are cosplayers. We are collectors. We are artists. We are some of the most busy people you will ever meet in your entire life.
Yeah.
Ikeda, it corrected me. Yes, the Xenia Coalition. You know what? Until we change our fucking logo, it's still the bridge.
Fuck off, okay?
It is still the bridge until we get our logo fixed. All right? You know, Jen used to be the one who was more concerned about that, but until our logo changes, it's still the bridge.
I didn't even realize that you said it like that. I was just like, okay.
Well, it was the bridge for longer than it's been the coalition.
It was.
But no, in all seriousness though, like let's talk a little bit about how we all cope, because we are in a twilight of seeming perpetual childhood, because all of us are told these five things mean being an adult, and none of us feel that way.
Right.
So we're all trying to latch on to things that make us happy.
You want to laugh, like friends of mine, I've had friends of mine who were able to hit certain towns well during their housing markets and like get houses and buy houses and like own houses and shit.
That's how we got lucky. We hit a short sale.
But they're not married. They don't have kids, or you know, they're not in they're kind of short-term dating, which I get too, because it's like we kind of skipped over that, where it's like people aren't getting into long-term relationships, and it's like cuz we're fucking tired. Like I would love to
By the way, correction, Sacramento. My friend lives in Sacramento. I just have to fly into San Fran. That's all.
So, like, I would love to be with somebody or people where I could talk about my day and have somebody there and actually have, like, a great relationship. But it's fucking hard. And, like, it's hard for me to manage my everyday life, my kid, the channel, and then a person. And then I've been by myself for a while. I've lived on my own for years. And the thought of having somebody
alone.
Having somebody come in my space and then having to figure out how to adjust all of this time, I kind of panic at like, where am I going to fit this and still have time for me? You know, because that's another thing. You know, previous generations have pounded into our head that once you become a couple, there is no you.
There is now us.
It's everything is us. There is no longer I, you become a we. And
which, as a poly person, we all have our own bedrooms for a reason, guys.
Right. Oh my God. Like the own bedroom. I at least think every relationship should have their own fucking bathroom. I mean, I like sleeping with my partners, so the own bedroom thing is kind of weird for me. But bathrooms, yes.
Oh, my bedroom has the queen size bed, so they can come in and sleep with me if they want to. But we need to be able to.
It's just like a shared space I like having. It's a thing for me. It's a shared space that I like having. But
we covered that when we were talking marriage earlier.
Yeah, but like now we're coming into this. Hey, it's okay to be me, and then kind of touching on you're worried about losing yourself as a parent. It's been so okay to lose yourself in a relationship. And we're all kind of sitting there like, well, now, okay, well, what the fuck is in it for me? So we're not getting into these long-term relationships because we're kind of in this transition thing. But it's also the fact that we don't have time. We don't have time to kind of, a lot of us are working 2 and 3 jobs. We're working a job and we're hustling or we're constantly worrying about money, or, raising kids and having to worry about it. We don't have the fucking time to maintain a long-term relationship. And I honestly think this is why long-distance relationships are on the rise.
But let's step back, though, and admire ourselves for a second. Let's step back, though, and admire ourselves for a second. The incredible fucking cosplayers, the incredible writers, the incredible artists, the incredible creators, all of us that are working 2 jobs and make the fucking time to do such beautiful things. Let's step back, and in light of everything we just said, you are a fucking adult. One of the new markers for adulthood is finding some kind of passion that you love so much you will make time for it when you get off work at 2 in the morning.
I'm like, are you... I don't... Fuck even living outside of your parents' house. Everything is just red. Just turn the timer off. It's all red at this point. But like, even if you're living in your parents' house, are you of a certain age? Are you... I would say like 25. Are you like 25? Are you like... fucking doing the thing? And not even like working, because like I said, we're in a fucking pandemic. Are you learning on how to balance your emotional health? Are you learning how to balance your mental health? Are you, even if it's just 1 or 2 friends, do you have like 1 or 2 friends that you can just check up on? Guess what? This is our adulting. This is our adulting at this point.
Did you earn some of your own money that you use to buy something that makes you happy?
I wouldn't even say that, because we're in the middle of a fucking pandemic. I wouldn't even say that.
No, I'm saying at some point during because the pandemic right now, like most of us are old enough to remember a time before it, right? So let's say at some point in your adult life, did you work your ass off, earn enough money to buy something that you fucking wanted and get it for yourself? Do you have like some kind of small
I'm
collection
like,
of things that you've made or purchased for yourself that make you fucking happy? That is
I'm
a marker
like,
of adulthood for us.
are you over 25? There's your fucking adulthood. Like, I'm so tired of this fucking arbitrary. I'm tired of you too, Fred. I hear you. I'm so tired of like these arbitrary fucking fence posts that it's like you have to hit this, you have to hit that, you have to have the kids, you have to be living on your own, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to have this many friends, you have to be married. No, fuck you. Are you fucking over the age of 25 when your brain is scientifically an adult? Guess what? There's your marker of adulthood.
Voting is a marker of adulthood for us. We are one of the most politically engaged generations of all time.
Here's the thing. Can you sit down and have an actual conversation with peers of your age? Not just blowing people off, not just fucking small talk. Can you sit down and have a conversation? I don't give a fuck what it's about. I don't give a fuck if it's about politics. I don't give a fuck if it's about fucking Pokemon. Can you fucking sit down and do you have the communication skills to have a fucking conversation with somebody in your peer group? Yes? You're an adult. Congratulations.
Here's a very cynical marker of adulthood. Have you lived long enough to feel like your favorite intellectual property from when you were a kid has been irrevocably ruined?
I literally hear Old Dirty Bastard on fucking laundry commercials now.
Oh, here's another one. Is the music that you grew up with playing on oldie stations now? Because when I heard Backstreet Boys on an oldie
music
station
you
the
grew
first
up
time,
with
I
on the
was like,
old
damn.
school hip hop hour, I'm like, you want to laugh? I'm sitting here, right? And I forgot I was listening. My mother was listening to Sirius or something.
For those,
And the old school hip hop hour comes on, and I'm like, I lost my virginity to this song.
Sarah Lana with the $25 super chat. Thank you so much, Sarah Lana. I'm going to be 49 this year on SSI. Believe me, I understand how hard it is to adult, especially with a personality disorder. And even aside from that, like even, if you have to take medication, did you take your medication this morning?
Did you take your ibuprofen today?
Did you take a shower sometime in the last 3 days?
If you had a crush on Devin Sawa, Jonathan Taylor Thomas, or Nick Carter, go take your ibuprofen for the day. Go. Now. Go ahead.
Did you actually brush your hair yesterday? Have you gone out and found an outfit that you really like and picked it up? These are markers of adulthood for us. Like,
no, you know what?
Like
I said earlier, my marker of adulthood came this week. My mother's listening to Sirius. It was old school hip hop hour, and I was like, holy shit, I lost my virginity to that song. Yeah. The old school hip hop hour was a song I lost my virginity to. That was like, I'm an adult now. The song I lost my virginity to is on fucking oldies now.
That is because you are still a Zoomer, which means you are also a fetus. Congratulations.
Yeah. I was like, oh shit, the song I lost my virginity to is now oldies. Awesome. Fantastic.
There's about 2 more years before the song that I lost my virginity to becomes oldies.
Let me go take my Advil for the day, because that was my fucking signal. You know what? Do you get up in the morning, or can you roll over in your bed and pull a muscle? Congratulations, you're a fucking adult. Can you literally stretch and throw your back out? Congratulations, you're a fucking adult. Do you have to use a heating pad sometimes? You're a fucking adult.
Here's another one. Have you lived long enough to notice that all of the cereal, like all of your favorite cereal mascots, are looking down when you try to pick up a box for yourself?
Oh, I got one. Have you noticed that tricks have become too sugary?
Mm-hmm.
You're an adult. You're a fucking adult.
Does Captain Crunch cut your mouth up and you don't enjoy it anymore?
Oh, it's so good though, but oh my god.
It hurts so good.
Oh my god.
Okay, guys, has Captain Crunch become a BDSM experience for you? You
yes.
are probably an adult.
Yes. I swear, like the amount of fucking skin that gets taken off the roof of my mouth. The amount of skin that's taken off the roof of my mouth for Captain Crunch, I could probably realign my whole fucking gum line with. Like, fucking awful. Yeah. Does your liver throw a fit when you eat too much candy? Have you realized when you've eaten too much salt? You're a fucking adult.
Does your heart pound when you drink? Okay, does coffee put you to sleep? You're a fucking adult.
Have you ever eaten cheese, then drank milk and went, I shouldn't have done this? You are a fucking adult. Have you actually started looking at things on your body and went, "Oh, you better not give out now because I can't afford the copay"?
Mm-hmm.
There is your marker of adulthood. If you have ever turned around and said, "You know what? I think I'm going to just deal with this," because you were either too socially awkward to make a doctor's appointment or you couldn't afford it, that is the new marker for adulthood right there. When you tell your body, "Oh, you better not give up now, bitch, because you're just gonna fucking break because I don't have the money." Welcome to the millennial marker of adulthood.
Joseph Walters says, I have never felt so personally attacked by a YouTube video as I have in the last 2 minutes. All right, here's another one. How many of you currently have action figures, either the modern day versions or from your past, sitting somewhere in your bedroom? Posters also count, from your favorite properties from when you were a kid. Whether it is a fan art poster or an actual official licensed material.
I have.
How many of us have VHS collections?
I don't even.
I
No,
do.
I still have I have one VHS tape. I do have one VHS.
I have a collection of VHS kids movies that some of which has never been republished.
If middle schoolers are wearing band t-shirts that released their first album when you were their age, congratulations, there's your marker of adulthood. You're like,
how many of us still hey guys, press H if you still play some form of trading card game.
I never did. I remember Pogs, but that was
you were right on the end of the Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, I was like right at the end of when all that shit became big. But I'll still play some fucking Mario to this day. Like, I actually so my kid is a Switch. Right? My kid is a Switch. And if you get the Switch online, they give you this like Nintendo emulator thing where you could play like the old Mario games and shit. So he wasn't downstairs, so I'm playing the Switch. And like he fucking heard this shit because he comes running down there. He's like, "What are you playing my Switch for?" And I'm like, "Fuck you, I paid for it, right?" So he's like, he sits down and picks up the other controller. I actually elbowed my kid. I was like, "No, I'm fucking playing, get out." And I sat there and he's like, "Mom!" And I'm like, "Fuck you, okay? You let me sit here in my fucking childhood because this is all I have."
How many of you have either set up an emulation machine or have played emulators on your computer? You're probably a millennial adult. These are the markers of adulthood for us.
I remember when BlueStacks was a thing.
But here's the thing, as sad as all of this probably sounds to anybody who's trying to judge ourselves based off of the standards of the past, you know what all of the things we just brought up are? Most of them anyway, apart from some of Jen's cynical BS because it's Jen. These are things that bring us joy. This is some hardcore fucking copium that we don't have to get from dealers because we created it ourselves. We have created our own markers of adulthood, most of which have to do with screaming in existential dread as we all turn 30.
Yes. Just screaming. Just getting up in the morning, not just rolling the wrong way.
Pure sound. There are no syllables. There is only the scream.
There's no syllable. It's just you open your eyes and there is this silent screaming in your brain as you wake up. And then you carefully roll over to make sure that you don't twist yourself the wrong way so you don't throw your fucking back out from merely rolling over in your bed because you can't afford the fucking time off.
Because you also can't afford the better mattress and the one you're sleeping on is probably 9 years old.
Wait, how old? Oh my god, it is 9 years old now.
That was a
oh my god, it's legit, you bitch.
I was waiting for it. I was like, waiting for it. The gears are turning. I love you, Jen. I'm making the heart. I'm making the heart sign at the camera that doesn't.
I know. I was like, oh fuck. Oh. All right, you want to get into the fuck we're doing stuff?
Yeah, and I've got one more marker for adulthood. Did you cook your dinner last night, or within the past week?
Wait, what did
that's
we
a marker
for
of adulthood.
That's the true marker of adulthood.
Did you forget what you had for dinner last night?
That's the true marker of adulthood. Did you cook your dinner last night? Oh fuck, what did we have for dinner last night? There's your marker. Oh fuck. Wait, did I? Kind of. We heated up leftovers. So kind of, I guess. I pressed the button and made it hot.
Jen, if you have Discord open, I just got sent the best meme ever from... This is about the existential dread of adulthood right there.
Oh my god, yeah.
What can I say except
like you just like the mark of adulthood now is just opening your eyes, and whether it be from money problems or relationship problems or mental health issues, you just open your eyes and silently scream in your brain
And then
for
you
about a
get
half
up
a
and
second.
you. But
And then you just get up and do what the fuck you have to do.
Anyway, like you have your breakdown before you get up, and then you get up and you just do the shit anyway. Because
Exactly.
you know what? I'm going to end on a really positive note before we hit shill, because I feel like this has to be said. For all of the depression and anxiety and anger that we have all expressed, for all of the way we've joked our way through the existential hell that is knowing that we might live to see an Earth that is uninhabitable.
Here's
for
another
the vast
marker of
majority
adulthood.
of us.
The world is burning from climate change. We can't afford to live. Can you joke about that?
Is that how you cope?
Is joking about the fucking world and the economic fucking stability of your life ending how you cope with it? Congratulations, you're fucking.
Marker of adulthood. You have coworkers younger than your youngest
comrade. Cousin. You have coworkers younger than your kids. You have coworkers younger than your nieces and nephews.
I have nieces and nephews that are my age. Because my sisters are 16 years older than me. Two of them.
I have a sister that is my age, and I have people that I have to work with that are younger than my niece and nephew.
But let's be proud of ourselves for a second, though. We are one of the strongest generations that has ever existed, because you might not be in the fucking, like, trenches of Normandy or something along those lines, but let's be fucking fair.
I'm in the trenches of an economic Normandy, that's for goddamn sure.
We are the first generation since the Great Depression to inherit an economy that was worse than what came before, whose parents have been blaming us for that, despite the fact that they engineered all of the conditions that created the hell that we currently live in. We are watching the world burn around us, and yet every single one of the people in this chat right now, no matter how depressed you are, no matter how upset you are, no matter how much you, trigger warning, might have felt that you wanted to know life yourself at some point. No matter how hard all of this is, we all got up this morning and found some tiny spot of joy.
We did it, man.
We fucking got it done. And it doesn't matter what it is. Even if it is just getting up and brushing your fucking teeth. You still got it done. We are living through a pandemic on the scale of the Spanish flu.
You woke up.
You woke up. You got out of bed. And you
not even getting out of bed. You woke up. You good. You did it.
You did it. We're all still fucking here. We have found our joys. We are creating our own markers of adulthood, and we are not judging each other for it. Everybody else is judging us, but we're not judging each other for it. This community right here, this conversation that we just had, all of us, because y'all are just as active on this fucking show. We respond to everything that happens in the chat. We watch what y'all are saying. You guys are as much a part of the show as anything. If you catch this shit live, if you're watching this on a VOD, obviously a little less so, but hang out in the comments. Jen and I both read them.
Yeah.
If you're
it's going to be a little different
because
we got to clip my kid's name out, but yeah.
You guys won't be able to see the chat this time.
Yeah.
As soon as it's done processing, I'm going to have to do that in the morning, but I won't add it to the Xenia Bridge list until we're done.
Cool, thank you.
But seriously, y'all did it. We're here right now supporting each other. And for those of you who are Zoomers, you guys had it kind of a little bit better in the sense that you at least were born into knowing that you were fucked.
Yeah. You weren't like me where it's like, oh, look at this wonderful dream of a carpet you're on, bitch, it's gone, bye. It wasn't even ripped out from under us. They lit it on fire.
They lit us on fire, and
we were standing on the American Dream carpet. Us older millennials, we were standing on the American Dream carpet. They didn't even rip it out from under us. They just lit it on fire. We were still standing there.
And you know what? Y'all are fucking here. We are building something beautiful despite everything that fucking happened to us. And as much as that sounds cynical as shit, as much as that sounds contrived, as much as that sounds like Dr. Phil or some stupid shit like that, we're still fucking here is actually the greatest accomplishment that could ever be asked of a generation that got fucked over as hard as we did.
You got up today. You woke up.
All right, Jen. What you doing this week?
Well, tonight, right after this, I am getting on Twitch for a little bit. I've been wanting to play this game, and I haven't played it on the computer for a while. And it's not because I feel like I have to hustle. I just kind of want to hang out and do it on Twitch. So, Allie, if you want to throw that link in the chat for anybody that wants to go over, I will be queuing up my stream starting soon, right after we click this off. After Tuesday, I am going to be releasing a video on why my channel is changing. Thank you, Corey. On why my channel is changing. I'm no longer going to be covering religious content. And if any of you look at my channel right now, you will notice that almost all of my religious content is gone. So I'm just going to be talking about why and the kind of journey that led it there and what the future for the channel is.
That doesn't mean that she's not going to show up as an ally from time to time in my videos.
No.
Don't worry.
But,
She'll mouth off if
yeah,
we
but it's going to be a reason why the channel's changing a bit.
Well, that's exciting. This week, I'm not looking forward to this. But by the way, guys, if you haven't yet, please hit the like. I'm covering some really dark shit this week, and for those of you who might be a little more sensitive, you might want to skip this one. Last year on Halloween, I released a video called "The Fake Guru of Satanism."
Right.
And I talked about a gentleman who goes by the name of E.A. Quetting. He has a different real name, but I'm not going to dox him. And I warned the entire community Halloween of last year that if this man was continued to allow a platform, and if the occult community continued to follow him, that people were going to die because of how dangerous his teachings were. And this week, I'm extremely sad to say, but thanks to a fan of mine who let me know about stuff on Twitter, I lived long enough to see my words come true. So we're going to be talking about a horrendous double homicide that was a direct result of E.A. Quetting's teachings from one of his followers that had made a compact with a demon to kill 6 women every 6 months until he won the lottery, following E.A. Quetting's teachings. And
we're my fucking God.
His sentencing that's going to be coming up in September, and we're going to talk about why this happened.
Jesus fucking Christ.
So we're going to be talking about some dark shit this week. Again, if y'all are a little on the sensitive side, you might want to miss it, but I'm going to be covering something that I absolutely hate, which is being right, and being right in such a horrible way. We're also going to talk about how this impacts the pagan community, the atheist community, the occult community, the Satanism community, all of us that are alt. He just gave that justification to all the people who fucking hate us. And I'm going to be talking about the ramifications of that and what we need to do as a community to band together and fight charlatans like this, because this is what happens when these ideas are allowed to fucking fester. This is what stochastic terrorism is. So we're going to be talking about stochastic terrorism. We're going to be talking about gurus in the occult community. We're going to be talking about E.A. Quetting. We're going to be talking about Daniel Hussein, who is the murderer. And we're going to be talking about what we as a community need to do going forward to stop this from happening.
There's a cat here to make me feel better.
So yeah, that's what y'all can look forward to at 9 EST, 6 PST on Thursday. Patrons, you guys will get it on Tuesday, as per usual. But yeah, I'm going to be talking about some dark shit this week. And I'm not looking forward to it because y'all fucking know how much I love drama. This isn't even drama. This is danger. This guy
There's a cat here to make everyone feel better after that one.
This guy has all right ties. This is some heavy shit. Lizzie says, I missed most of the stream because I hyperfixated on D&D stuff. Well, I mean, that's what the VOD's for. All right, so that is the show. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. As per usual, please hit the subscribe button if you're new. Hit the like or the dislike if you never want to see my face again. Go check out Jen's channel. Jen's channel is still under Jen Aldrich in the description. Please go subscribe to her. She does excellent political content, and she's going to be diversifying pretty soon. You guys are going to find out all about that. Go check out her stream as soon as we hang up for the evening. Let us know down in the comments how many of the markers of adulthood. Let us know if you're a millennial, or even if you're not, how many of the markers of adulthood did you get to hit? How many have you missed? How many of the at the end of the stream markers of adulthood have you hit, or have you not? Let us know how you felt about how we just personally assaulted everything that you hold dear.
No.
Let us know if you enjoyed Jen's this is how you run a drug kingpin at the beginning.
This is the breakdown of a drug. This is the breakdown of a drug enterprise.
Let us know down in the comments
like if
how
you know
like
cat, like if you like cat, fat man. Hi, fat
so let us know and like say hi to the kitty to let us know that you made it all the way to the end. So have a great rest of your night, guys. And as I say at the end of every show, we built the coalition. Now let's fight. We're stronger together.